Hector's waiting for you to call him.
Okay.
I told him that he might not know to go to the community page and click on you.
Okay. Should I be doing this with my left hand?
Stop. I'm at the library, so you can't make me laugh.
I'm in my home and I don't want to wake up.
Okay. Stop it. Okay. No, really, you need to call him. He's been waiting since 1 o'clock.
Oh my God. Alright, so I will invite.
Okay. Do you like my new specs? Hello?
He's in one circle. Maybe hopefully he's still there.
Yeah. Do you like my specs?
Like how fast are your specs or what?
No, do you like them?
Like 1 megabit per second or?
Never mind.
Oh, your glasses.
Yeah, my specs.
Okay.
Do I look like a granny?
Yeah.
Oh,
oh, you don't want to look like a granny?
No.
Okay. All right. So we're broadcasting live. We're recording. So all this nonsense, about going like this and all that, it's on there. So, and about you looking like a granny with your specs.
Okay, I'll be good. Whatever good is.
So maybe I thought he was in my Mech High circle, but maybe not. Has he been to the community page? Why don't you chat with him? Oh, there he goes.
Yeah, there he is. Yeah.
Wow. I'm over there with Maria.
Hey, Hector.
On another site. Hey, Ramon, how you doing, guys?
You on another? Are you on the original event, or are you on this event, or what? With
That's a difficult question. I'm here with you now.
Okay. ¿Cómo chingados estás? I mean, how the heck are you?
Como la jodida, carnal.
Okay, está bueno. All right, so we're gonna wait for Maria. You think?
Well, I was on another screen with her trying to find you guys,
okay.
And I cut her off, and that's how I was able to come to this screen.
So she should have the invitation. I'll send her a specific one just for her. Is it Maria Aurelia or which one?
Yes.
Yeah.
There she is.
All right. He's almost here. Hey, Aurelia.
Yes.
So you're good? Do you know of anyone else that's joining us, Hector?
No, I don't.
Okay. Well, we can get started, okay?
Okay.
So welcome to the paint tutorial just for Hector and anyone else who's willing to put up with it. So Hector, this is a Hangout on Air. It's not just a regular Hangout. A Hangout on Air is automatically recorded. So all the crap before you got on with Linda talking like this because she's in the library and all that, that's at the beginning of the recording. And if you say a maldición or do something indecent, too bad. It's going to get recorded.
Okay.
So I want to hear some maldiciones throughout. All right. So I invited a few people, everybody who's in my Mech High circle. And so a few people responded to that. I was assuming that when this thing was publicized, that you would automatically get a link and you'd be able to log in, but apparently not. I haven't done this in a while.
Okay.
All right. So I understand from Linda that now you are the new curator of the Bulldog Bites something or other. What is it? BBB. What does the BBB stand for?
Bulldog Boomer Bites.
Oh, okay, Boomer. Okay, I forgot the Boomer part. All right, so one of the things that you're interested in doing is creating graphics, right? So that you can either copy paste or do whatever you need to do, or make announcements or do silly things to keep things interesting.
Yes.
All right. So basically, that's just creating images or manipulating images. It could be just like a drawing, or it could be a photograph. And so I don't know what kind of software you have. The focus of this particular Hangout on Air is on the free program called Paint. So I'm assuming that you have some version of Windows installed on your computer.
Windows 7.
Okay, cool. Me too. Good. A lot of people don't even know what the heck version they have, but that's good. I have Windows 7, and so what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen. So have you figured out how to do that? You know, if you hover your mouse on the left-hand side of your screen or this window, the Google Plus Hangout window, there's a bunch of little icons, and if you just put your cursor over them, it tells you what the heck they do. So there's a little green one with an arrow. I'm going to click it because I'm going to share my screen so you can see what I'm doing. And hey, this is going to be pretty free form. So if you have any questions, ask the questions as we go along. And I'm going to try to allow time to practice. So I'm going to show you stuff, and then we're going to practice. How about that? That went. All right. So I'm going to share my screen. Screen 1. Okay. Share. And you probably see a lot of feedback there. So when you're doing a Hangout, or you're sponsoring it or whatever, you have to remember to minimize this Hangout window if you want to show the desktop or something else on your computer. So I'm just going to click the little minimize button, and you should now be seeing my plain old Windows 7 screen. I took out all the all the indecent photos that I had on there and just put this plain one on here so I wouldn't embarrass myself. All right, so does everyone see the desktop of my computer? Okay. All right. So to access the free Paint program, you need to go to the Start button. If you don't have if you don't have a shortcut somewhere already for it. So I'm assuming, you're starting fresh. You don't even have a shortcut for it. You would go to the Start and go to this little search box at the bottom left and just type in Paint, and you'll get your results. And sure enough, at the very first one is the Paint program. Here we have the option of creating a shortcut somewhere, so you don't have to go through these steps anymore. So if I just right-click Paint, and I would say pin to the taskbar, which is that horizontal area at the bottom of your screen. If I click that, then you'll see where am I bringing my cursor. There's a little shortcut icon there already. That in the future I would just click that and be able to start it.
I don't see your pointer. Where?
Okay, so if you click your Start button,
yes,
and then
right click
at the bottom left, it's a left click.
Okay.
Your index finger, not your obscene finger. So if you click that, you get a little search box. You get a bunch of other stuff too, but in the search box, just type Paint or PA, and it'll give you some results. So that's what I did. Everything that starts with P, PAI, only Paint starts with that. So once it appears in the search results, you can right-click. This is the time when you right-click. There aren't many opportunities to right-click in Windows, but this is one of them. So if you right-click the little Paint icon, you get a bunch of options or choices. One of them that I selected was to pin to the taskbar. And once it's on there, then you would see unpin from the taskbar to eliminate it. You can also pin it to the Start menu, or you can go down a little more and say send to, and then to the desktop. Where's the desktop? Right here. So what that does, if I get out of here, just click on an empty area of the screen. So now I actually sent the shortcut to the desktop, right?
Okay.
And I also have it on my taskbar. And you can do that with any program. If you don't have a shortcut for it on the task bar at the bottom, or one of the icons on your desktop, that's how you get them there. You send to the desktop, or you pin to the taskbar.
Got it.
All right. This is all stuff that I cover in my computer basics class. This is very, very basic Windows stuff, as well as like moving windows, resizing windows, that kind of stuff. And if there's enough interest among your Facebook followers in the community page, I'd be happy to schedule another one, just the basic stuff. And other topics of interest, like this one on Paint. All right. So. Okay. I'm going to double-click the Paint icon. So the thing is, when you have a shortcut on your desktop, this is a double-click world. So to start a program that's on your desktop, it's double-click. If you choose to put it down here in the taskbar, that's a single-click world. So let me just show you that. So I'll just single-click on the Paint icon.
Okay.
And it starts it. But if you want to start it from the desktop, you would have to double-click that.
That's a familiar screen right there.
Okay, so I start out with just a blank. It's called the canvas, so it's a place where you can start to create stuff. So that's the first thing we're gonna do. Is you have a blank palette here, like an artist, and you have a few choices. This is it's sophisticated, this Paint program, but not as sophisticated as things like Illustrator or Paint Shop Pro and things like that, but it can pretty much do anything you need it to do for the community page that you have. So I'm going to select a star from this Shapes area, and I'm just going to go to somewhere on the canvas and click, and as I move, I keep the left mouse button depressed. I can shape and resize that particular shape, which is a star in this case. And when I first put it on there, it's got an outline on it. It means it's still active. You can still do things with it. So if I move my mouse just like on one of the edges, it turns into a double arrow. With that, you can just click a border and squish it this way, or do a double arrow on the side and squish it that way. But you can also move the cursor around until you get like a 4-arrow thing. That, if you click when the 4 arrows are there, you can move that around anywhere on the canvas.
That was going to be my next question.
Okay, and it's tricky. You have to get used to it, because if I click outside of that little dotted area, boom, it's done. I can't do anything else with it. It's published. And the way to get, if you say, well, I want to get back to that, so you would do, or I don't want that shape, you would do the back or undo arrow up on top. And an alternative, if you just hover over that undo arrow, it tells you that it's a Control-Z is the keyboard shortcut for it. So you can either click there, or on your keyboard do Control-Z, and it will undo the previous thing. So if you're doing something like a text box, and we'll do a text box in a minute, if it's pretty elaborate and you have a lot of stuff in there and you're changing colors and fonts, if you undo it, you undo everything. You can't undo one step at a time when you're doing something like that. So I'm going to do the star one more time. I'm going to click on Shapes, click the star, and make a star right there. Let's see, let's see. So in these shapes that we have on here, you have some options also in terms of colors. So if you go up here to the right, you have 2 little boxes that are color 1 and color 2. The color 1 is for the outline, and color 2 is for the inside of it. Okay. So right now you've got a black arrow. So for the Dallas Cowboys, yeah, I know you're a big Cowboy fan. How do they do their stars? What color is their outline? Let's leave it black. Okay. But for the inside color, we'll make it blue. Let's see. Click on Fill, Solid Color, Blue. Okay. Or I could, so it's blue there. Or I could say, well, I want the Fill, Solid Color. I want this blue instead, or this blue. So
silver.
if I hover over any of these colors, it's going to change it to that particular color.
Okay.
So we'll make that the blue. Okay. So now if I just click outside of that outline box, it's done. Okay. I can't move it. I can't do anything else with it. You know, and you can create multiple ones if you want. So I'm gonna, you know, do another one down here. You know, okay. And click away from it, and that's done. Okay. So it remembers the last settings that you had for the color of the outline and the fill. If you want to change it on a new one like this, you got to have an outline around it, meaning that it's active and you can still make changes. So here I would say, you know what, I'm going to, instead of black outline, I'm going to have a red outline, and instead of the inside of it being light blue, I'm going to make it purple. And I have to click on fill. And make.
I need to practice that.
You're good at this, Doug. You've answered the questions I want to ask you.
Hey,
long enough.
I am stumbling through this. Most of the stuff, I hardly ever use this, right? So thanks for the compliment, but the way I teach these things, especially for stuff that I don't know, is I just stumble through it and let you ask the questions, or you even can share the screen and do a few things as we go along. So there's no outline or anything that I'm following on this. Right? So again, you can play around with these things to your heart's content. You can also use the brush tool. So if you go up here, it's the middle one right here. If you click on the little down arrow, there's different kinds of brushes. And all you have to do is hover your cursor over it and it tells you what it is. So the first one is just plain old brush. This other one is calligraphy or something like that. Calligraphy brush 2. I like the airbrush. So if you drew something on here, and let's do that. So I'm going to click away from that, and if I take the little pencil icon, and I'm going to do a kitty cat, okay? As best I can. I'm not a very good artist. Okay. You can, when you're freehand drawing like this, it's not easy to do with the mouse and all that. Then you could use the brush tool, and you know, so you can use that version of it and say it's kind of a sort of a black cat. Well, I have to click the color. Color 1 is black. So I would undo that line, pick the color 1, and select black from the palette, and so that's a black line. Okay, so that's a line. Now let's see what the airbrush is, which is like the fourth one up here. Then it's more like kind of like, you know, you can start to get creative with these things. Okay? All right, and so, you know, it'll take a little while before you can get pretty good at using any of these particular tools, and that's fine. Probably what you're going to do more than anything else is work on photos. But just before we go to do a photo, let's just try out the little text tool, which is in the tools area. So if I click on that, you have to go to your canvas and draw a rectangle of where you want to put in your text. Right? And again, you got that little dotted outline, means it's active. You can be doing things with it. So color 1 is going to be the text color. Okay? So I'm going to put in their bulldogs. Okay? And you know what? Bulldogs, that should really be purple, right? So I'm going to highlight it, go over it with my mouse, and I'm going to, font color is black right now, but I can select purple, right? So now it's purple, and I'm still in the box. If I click out of the box, then I lose everything. Here, while the box is still active, you can also change the size of the font. So right now it's 18. I can make it 28 or bigger, right? You can also create an opaque background for this box. So once you get your text in there, then you can control or resize the box by just moving your cursor till you get a double arrow like this on one of the handles. You can bring it down like this, or do the bottom one and drag it up like this, and then do the right hand side and bring it in like this. Then you also have a choice of making this box opaque by clicking opaque, and then you get to choose the color you want in the background. So in this case, we'll approximate gold, right? So Bulldog Gold. Okay? And now if I click away from it, it's done. I can't change it. I can't do anything else with it. It's set. The only other thing I could do is click the Control Z or the undo button, right? So I'm going to click undo, same as doing Control Z, and then that last object that I worked on is gone. But I can say, well, I didn't mean to do that. I can redo. So you get a chance to redo it. So, okay, fine. I screwed up. Okay. So there it is. All right. So that's the basics, and I'm going to save it by clicking this little icon up here, save as, and notice, by default it's going to save it as a PNG, Portable Network Graphics, but you can save it in different formats. So I'm just going to call it Bulldog, just to name it, and I'm going to save it on my desktop, or I could select another folder, and I'm going to save it as a PNG, but I can also save as a GIF. Save it. I can also so it's the color quality might be reduced if you have to save the picture in this format, because this is a very compressed format. But I'm just playing right now just to show you that you have options on what format you want to save it as. Typically, most people work with JPEG. So that one's okay. So select JPEG, save, and then the native format or the default format for Paint is BMP. So that would be I'm going to make it a 256 BMP. So it'll have some color. Okay. All right. So now I'm going to close this. I've saved it multiple times, and I can see all the versions that I saved here on the left-hand side, and they've got names. This is a PNG, this is a GIF, this is a JPEG, and this is a BMP. What I want you to show you is that there are different levels of compression. When people are working on the internet and doing stuff like for a Facebook page or something else, the bigger the image, the longer it takes for people to open it. So you may want to do something like a GIF file or a PNG file because it's going to be more compact or more compressed. So if I right-click on the PNG and click on Properties, it tells me that this is 8.25 kilobytes in size. If I look at the GIF, let's see how big that one is. This is 10.2. It's slightly bigger. And if I do a JPEG and look at properties for that, that's even bigger than the other ones. And then the BMP, let's see, is really big. It's bigger than the other ones. Okay, so just be aware that when you save these, something that you create is are you saving it as a JPEG or a BMP? The internet doesn't care, but you might care in terms of how big an image it is in terms of kilobytes. All right. So that's step one in creating stuff. So it's just I just touched the surface on that, so you can get creative and learn to use some of those tools on there. The stuff that you're probably going to do a lot more of is working with photographs. So I'm going to go find a photograph. And just click on Pictures, and I'm going to go to the M's for Mac High Pics. Hang in here. Now, actually, I'm going to go to McAllen. Mackay. So I was out in McAllen a few weeks ago, and these are the photos that I shot. Who's that? Who's that?
Delia.
All right. So I'm going to just pick one photo. I'm going to take this photo, and if I want to do something with it in Paint, I would right-click the file, and then I have lots of choices. I can just preview it, and and it's come up in the Windows Photo Viewer. I say, nah, I don't want to do that. So I'm going to right-click it again just to show you what the options do. Another one is Edit. So if I click Edit, it should automatically open it up in Paint. I'm going to close it again. And what are some of the other options? Right-click. I can print it from here. Or I can open with a particular program. I have Illustrator. I have Photoshop. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. I've got Snagit Editor. Some of you are familiar with that. So you can open it up with different programs. By default, it opens it up with Paint. So I'm just going to say Paint again. Okay. So notice when I open this photo up in Paint, that's a huge photo. And so I would have to go to the scroll bars to see other areas of the photo, like this or like this. To get to other areas. But I just want to show you that when you have a photograph that you take from a point-and-shoot camera, it's probably going to be 3 to 6 megabytes in size. So the bigger it is, the less you're going to see in Paint. And you can control what you see by going to the lower right-hand side, because there's a little slider bar that allows you to, you can minimize or see more of it, right? You're seeing it in 25% size. What's going to happen here is, so if I wanted to type in some text, I click the little text button, and then do text. So this is 28-point text, and it's black. So I want to change the color of that to white. So I need to kind of highlight it and then say white. So in a big photo like this, 28 size font that you would do in Word it would be very big. But in a big photo like this, it's not very big. So let me go to a second line and say, okay, so for a huge photo like this, I need even 72 is not that big.
Wow.
Okay. So what you might want to do, and I'm going to close this photo, and I'm not going to save anything. So if you have an original photo of something, what I would do is right-click, say Edit, and immediately I'm going to save it as something else.
Different file.
So I'm going to say resize.
Cool.
I can't spell anymore. Resize. So give it any name so that you don't mess with the original. And I'm going to put it right on the desktop, so it's not even in the folder where all the other photos are. I could create a separate folder for it to say these are my working folders or copies or whatever. So I'm going to save it. So if I close this and close this, you'll see that it's saved right here. Now, if I right-click it and look at the properties, it'll tell me that it's almost 4 megabytes in size. So I'm going to close that. So if I right-click and say Edit, it's going to take me to Paint. So when you're working on images like this that you're going to put on Facebook or somewhere on the internet, you should make it a lot smaller. So you do that by going to the resize option, and I'm going to say you can do it in pixels or you can do it in percentage. So for starters, I'm going to do it in percentage and just do 25%. Click OK, and that's what it is at 25%. And then if I click Save, and I close this out, I'm done with what I'm doing right now. If I right-click it, it'll tell me that it's not 4 megabytes anymore. It's only 367, so it's a fraction of that size.
Wow.
Right?
Cool.
And you can make it, you know, bigger, smaller, whatever your needs are. You probably don't need much more than this to fill a screen when you're doing Facebook, when you're posting photos there. Okay? All right, so let's edit this baby. So I'm going to right-click it, click Edit. And now if I do a text box, so who's this chick's name? What's her name?
Cindy.
Cindy. Okay.
Mhm.
Cindy, and black doesn't go well here, so I'm going to highlight that and say, you know, that really should be white.
Mhm.
Okay. So that's
Cool.
Cindy in white. And you know, and maybe now that it's a smaller photo, I don't need a 72 font, so I
Right.
highlight that again and I
Mhm.
reduce that to whatever, you know, like
Mhm.
36. Okay, and then I would resize the box before I click away from it. Okay, and I would probably do like an opaque thing. So color 2 would be, you know, something else. Or purple because it's Mac High.
Mhm.
Then, and I can still, as long as the outline is still on that, and I move my mouse until I get the 4 arrows and click, and I can move it around anywhere, right?
Mhm.
But as soon as I click outside of that box, it's a done deal.
Hmm.
Okay, and here, you know, I can use my little slider bar on the bottom right. The photo remains at 350 or whatever it was, but if you're doing something intricate, you would want to blow it up, so you can do something like with an airbrush, so paintbrush, and I'm going to do airbrush here, and I'm going to pick the color black. Don't tell Cindy, okay? All right. So then, so that's that, you know. So then I would bring it back.
I'm gonna have
No
fun.
laughing
I
here.
know.
All right.
Hector
So you
and I
know,
won't
I
tell.
click away from it, and it's a done deal. Or I can do Control Z or undo
Oh my God.
and get rid of it. Right? It's sequentially all the things that you've done. I could say I want to emphasize this person and move that, center it, you know, with a circle. And you know what? I don't like that black outline. I want to do white. You know, something like that.
Oh,
If I
cool.
click outside of it, okay, so, you know, and then you could do an arrow and, you know, select from the shape tools.
Okay. Yeah. Cool.
Let's see. Can I move it around? Let's see. Yeah, I want to do a diagonal arrow. So maybe I don't know if I can do a diagonal. So do you know her name?
Yes, Norma.
All right. So here I can't type text, but if I click away from this, then I can do a little text box inside of that shape.
Cool.
And remember the last setting. So you know, I'm on purple background. I could make it any other color. You know, I make it
Yeah.
yellow for the background.
Cool.
You know, or whatever. I would resize the box to fit into that arrow. Norma. And say, you know, that's still too big, so I would highlight the text and say, you know, let's bring this down from 36 to 24. And then you can still, you know, as long as the box is active, get your 4 arrows so you can kind of position it right there. Now you can click away. Nah, that's not exactly what I wanted. But so what I would do is Control Z and do my text, and I would do it again. Norma, resize the box, but it's still opaque, and that way, you know, I don't want it to touch the lines of the arrow. So I got to get my little 4 arrows, and I say, so there it is, and you say, there's not enough room to work with, so you know what? Make that center bigger, okay? And scroll to it so you can get a little more control. So there, and then I could do my, find my 4 arrows and say, let's center it just a little bit more. And you know what? That's the yellow background is too big, so let's make it slimmer. Like this. Give it double arrows.
Steady hand.
And then make this box smaller. So you can do little things like that. Now it's set, and I can bring it back to 100% down here on the slider bar, because that's the real size of it. And then I would save that sucker. You know what? I'm going to save as, and I'm going to say Cindy, and make it a JPEG. So I'm saving it as a JPEG, and I'm going to save it on the desktop. Save. But I want to show you again that that's a JPEG. I can save as a PNG. Save. Or I can save it as a something else, like a GIF. Save, or BMP. All right. So you all know that if you click on the lower right-hand corner down here, it says Show Desktop. If you click on that, it closes the window so you can see what's on your desktop. But so now I have Cindy JPEG, Cindy PNG, and Cindy GIF. So if I right-click on JPEG and click on Properties, it tells me that this is 380 kilobytes in size, which is small. And if I look at the PNG and do properties on that, 1.79 megabytes. So already you can see that a PNG doesn't compress as far down as a JPEG. This is more than a megabyte, right? And then the GIF is how big? 524. So that's pretty small. Small, but big enough. So if I was working and doing something on Facebook, I would probably do the JPEG photo. Okay, so I've still got this open. I'm going to close Paint and just open the JPEG with the Edit selection. All right. Okay. So I'm done for a little while. Any questions or anything you want to try? You want to share your screen and do something, Hector or Maria or Linda?
I'm good. God, you taught us so much. And what's cool is that this is on video, so we can look at it again.
Yeah. So is Hector, are you still there?
I'm still here, and I'm good, and I would prefer to practice on my own.
Okay. All right. But before you go, something that I shared with Maria and Linda before is, so this is a free program, right? And you can do quite a few things with it. There is another free program called GIMP, G-I-M-P, like your Gimpy, and it's an open source program, so it's free. And you can just go do a Google search for it, GIMP download. So let me do that. I'm going to go to Google, and I'm going to do GIMP. So it already suggests it. GIMP download. You could go to the GIMP.org site and download it from there. All right. So right now my connection is about as slow as Linda's connection. Construction area. So if you wanted something even more sophisticated or much more sophisticated than this, it's going to have a steeper learning curve. I would download and install GIMP. I may not have enough bandwidth for this. But then I would also go to YouTube. Yeah, so I'm going to click on my YouTube icon, and I would look for, whatever you want to learn something about, go to YouTube and just say GIMP tutorials. Okay? And you're going to get a ton of videos, and you want to sift through some of them and see which one makes more sense or strikes a chord with you. That you're going to learn something from it. So Hector, practice, work with Paint because it's free and it's already there.
Okay.
But if you're really interested, take the extra step and download and install GIMP and learn a few things, and maybe you can sponsor a Hangout on Air showing us whatever you learn about GIMP.
Okay, great.
You can invite the people from Facebook, and you can invite people from Google Plus. It doesn't really matter.
Okay.
So are there other things that you want to learn, if not now, at some other point in time that we could schedule another Hangout?
What I was going to say, Ramon, is let me get some people interested in it in the next couple of days, and I'll get with you so you can tell me when we can schedule a meeting. But I know I can get 2 or 3 more people in here.
Yeah, and I'd be happy to do these things, but I think a lot of these things that we just share what we all know, and we just share our screens and say, hey, have you tried this or that, or I have a question about how to do this or how to do that, and I may not have the answers, but someone else might, and so it's just sharing, and it's free, and you get to see each other and make fun of each other, and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I agree.
Okay.
All right, so I'm going to unshare my screen wherever it is.
I wanted to say something when you're done.
Yeah, I'm done.
Well, first of all, thank you, Hector, for being here, because I know you can learn a lot from this for Bulldog Boomer Bites, and thank you, Ramon, for your time. You always teach us something new, and I really, really, really appreciate it. Thank you all.
I have fun with it. You're welcome. Estás welcomeada or ordenada.
And I'm going to save this link. Hey, I'm going to save this link. This is good. It's good to practice. Right. Thank you so much.
So we're done, and this video will be available very shortly. So I'm going to stop the broadcast.